All right, there we go.
Are we recording?
We are recording, yes.
Excellent. Wow. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Conspiracists by Sterling Joyner. This is Patrick and Art.
Yep. Hey, how's it
Uh,
going, guys?
I'm happy to be finishing this, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be probably pretty quick as the police get called by the Herbert Hoover Gift Museum folks for the whatever you're doing in the bathroom. So
Right. Well, so let me say before we
Mhm.
recap,
Mhm.
should we do a little bit of Black Lodge trivia?
Of course,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I don't know if this is easy or hard, but I'll throw it out there. So here we go. Peggy Lipton is famous for playing Norma Jennings, the owner of the Double R Diner
Mhm.
on Twin Peaks. But she may have been one of the less famous people in her real life family. Can you name either of the two famous people in her family? And if you need a hint, I can say one's her husband and one's her daughter.
What was her name again? Jennings.
Her show name is Norma Jennings, and she
Right.
owns the Double R Diner. In real life, her name was Peggy Lipton.
Is her husband? Did her husband own like Lipton iced tea or something?
No.
Okay. So
Is that your sort of final
I
answer?
think that's the final answer.
Okay. Yeah, her husband, I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Quincy Jones.
Sounds very
He
familiar.
he was sort of the producer behind Michael Jackson's Thriller and a number of other big time albums. And
Okay.
their daughter is the actress Rashida Jones, who is on The Office, Parks and Rec.
Yes.
So
Okay.
Peggy Lipton is Rashida Jones's mom.
How about
So
that?
there you go.
I would have never have guessed.
Yeah, no, I was listening back to the last episode and I was like, that was kind of a jerky. Like, what's Cooper's middle name? Like, it's like, what's the safe on episode 13's? Just like, okay. So I tried to get something that wasn't quite as stupid.
It's I need to get back. I'm starting to feel bad at this point, and I said this last time. I need to get back on the horse, and I canceled our whatever it's on. Is it on Paramount?
That would make sense because it was a Showtime show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I've got. I think I've still got. I think I bought a season a while ago, so I think I still
Okay.
have access to it. I just need to buckle down. But
Well,
you know
let me
how
ask you, how far did you end up getting? How far into
I
season
am
2?
about the same place I was last time.
Okay.
So I think 2.5 episodes in. So I'm
Oh,
starting.
but you know who killed Laura Palmer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember how far into the season.
It was like I feel like it was the second episode. Like I feel like it was something that happened pretty much immediately.
Pretty quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean that I can't blame you because that part that you're in is just it's actually not a. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm glad Matt's not here to hear it. It's not a good show for a
no,
good stretch. It's
no,
actively bad.
it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's like chewing through nails right now.
Yes,
And
but it gets, like as Matt said, probably either offline or even on the air here. Like it gets really good again, and then it gets really good again with like The Return. And if you watch, well, my opinion, if you watch Fire Walk with Me, I really like
yeah.
that movie. So
The goal is to watch all of it, especially because I'm in a podcast that's about that's called Black Lodge Trivia. I should probably know the source material, but
yeah, but I feel like the important part is what we're doing here tonight, which is the conspiracists and the RPGs. So
it's
right,
it's
right.
between we'll see. Like Matt said, some of the audience is here for your beautiful face, some of them are here for my beautiful face, and some
Yeah.
of them hate both of us and are here for uh the show that the Twin Peaks. That's the one. So okay. I have another question because
Sure.
there happens to be one near our house. We've never been in it, and
Okay.
because I hear the food isn't very good. But
Okay.
there is a Twin Peaks restaurant, and in Kennesaw, and it's Twin Peaks as in it's a brainchild of like it's a Hooters knockoff kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I get it.
And it's a chain. There's a bunch of them around. It's in
Sure.
this, but I wonder. It is like a ski lodge, like looking thing. I wonder if they are if it's double entendre, or if they're pulling on Twin Peaks. I gotta look it up now.
Now we got to know. Yeah, so that would be interesting. I confess I've never heard of a Hooters adjacent Twin Peaks show inspired restaurant, but I'm not the most knowledgeable person in the world on the Hooters oeuvre of restaurants.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I pulled it up, and the first word that popped out was restaurant.
Oh, so yeah, so you're good to go. It's exactly what you think it is.
Okay.
And now you know where you're going for your next anniversary or your mom's birthday.
The slogan is "Eat, drinks, and scenic views." I'm done. I'm closing
Classic.
it down. There we go. Beautiful.
Oh, America.
God bless. All right.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Anyway. So, yeah. So, did you want to? Do we need to recap, or how would you like to go about this?
I mean, we can do something very brief. I don't. This one is so off the walls, mushroom dream, that it's I think it's just better to say go watch the previous episode.
Go watch the last one. Yeah.
And do you want to give the recap a swing, or do you want me to roll through it?
I can. Yeah. So basically, the important points are: I'm wearing Zubaz Cincinnati Bengal pants. I got a Def Leppard T-shirt. I got a Cy Talkin N-Gage telephone from the late 90s.
Yep.
I had a fortune cookie with lottery numbers on the back that were wrong. It turns out it was a phone number for a department within the Department of Agriculture. I think I'm tasked with trying to help out the Illuminati implant gray DNA, but I forget the name of the...
No, it was Grace. It was Grace.
Yeah, Gray's DNA into our food chain, both crops and livestock. And that journey required me to get a laptop from a Las Vegas pawn shop, but I instantly got sidetracked getting a hitchhiking. I got picked up by a lizard man hitchhiking. We almost collided with a work release prison bus, so I decided for no reason to hop onto that bus. Turns out that bus is filled with cardboard cutouts of my mom. And all of a sudden, the driver named Dick Nixon, he disappeared, and suddenly I was in a moving bus with no driver. We got all that settled, and eventually I called my mom, and the work release program was going to the Hoover Dam, and it ended with me getting into a very awkward encounter with...
Tete-a-tete with the...
Yeah, with a teenage girl who's running the shop and just wanted to close for the night. And I needed to get access to some things, so I clogged her toilet. And that's where we stopped, I think, right? Like I just clogged the toilet.
We faded to black as you went in through the employees entrance or employees only door.
Yes.
As she was in the bathroom unclogging your mess. So
yes.
That's where we faded to black. I think you got everything. People have kept telling you to call your mom. That's the only other weird.
Yes. And I think I did. And
you did.
Was Dick Nixon there, or was the lizard guy who picked me up hitchhiking?
The lizard guy was, or she had a lizard named after the lizard guy.
Oh, okay. But wasn't he at that? Didn't I talk to him at my mom's? He was watching the game with my dad.
I think Dick Nixon was watching the game with your
dad. That's
dad.
what it was. Okay. Dick Nixon was at the house watching the game. Okay. Got it.
Yes. All
right.
And I should have, I left my notebook at home where I wrote the name down. Do you remember the lizard guy's name?
I was just listening to it today to get prepped, and I don't.
We're gonna go with Mortimer. That's what we're gonna call him from now on, because it was something farmer-ish. So yeah, Mortimer the lizard person.
Continuity preserved.
Yes, I mean,
was it Otto?
Sort of. It might have been. I think it was Otto, actually.
I don't. I'm just.
We're gonna go with Otto.
We'll go with Otto. Yeah. So Otto and Dick Nixon.
Okay. It makes sense that Otto's the bus driver because Dick Nixon was the bus driver.
Dick Nixon was the bus driver. Otto was the guy who picked me up in the F-150.
Yes.
Who was trying to quit smoking and had the lizard blink.
Yes. It would have
Yeah.
made more sense if Otto was driving the bus, because then it's a Simpsons
There's
reference.
a Simpsons reference, and then the
And
world
it's-
makes sense.
And then,
Yeah.
Illuminati confirmed. So
Exactly.
all right.
So yeah,
Well,
let's pick it up from there, I guess, right?
yeah, let's rock and roll. Let
right.
me just me. All right, I'm ready. What are you drinking tonight?
So it's the same thing. Not to be a walking advertisement. It's the same thing I always drink. It's just iced tea. Is it reversed? I can't tell.
Probably.
But I think so. This used to be called Honest Iced Tea, and I was a big fan of it. But I think nobody cares. They sold to Coca-Cola. They rebranded. Now it's called Just Iced Tea. But I also believe that there is a Justice. I think that's actually deliberate Justice Tea instead of Just Iced Tea. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So they stopped making my favorite flavors. But what I like about it is when you this is the stupidest thing in the world.
Keep going. This is it's either this or dick pills. So just keep going.
So just iced tea, just a tad sweet. So that's what it is. It's that even when you get like the sweet iced tea or the sweet whatever, it's got like half the sugar. So it's not. I don't have a sweet tooth, so any little bit of sugar is like getting kicked in the face with diabetes. So I prefer stuff that, like, I will eat salty shit for dessert. I like that more than sweet.
What is your opinion on black licorice?
I don't like licorice.
Okay.
I don't like. Is that like sort of that anisette flavor?
Kinda, but yeah.
I'm not a fan of that black licorice kind of taste. So like, but for me, like, dessert is, I'd rather have popcorn than ice cream, if that makes any sense. So
no, my wife is the same way. So
okay, yeah. What I like about this is that it's barely got any sugar in it. So for me, it's like a little bit too sweet, but for everybody else, it's like they can barely taste it.
And this segment, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you by Justice Tea.
Justice Tea.
Justice Tea. Preferred drink of Mr. T.
What about you? What do you got going on?
My mountains are not blue anymore. So
okay. All right.
That's what I'm drinking tonight.
Well, that's the problem with witness protection, is they don't give you a room fridge.
It's if you're watching this in posterity, I'm probably at the Hoover Dam. But I can neither confirm nor deny where I am. So just on the road. But all right. So you have entered the employees only area. And it looks like this looks like a break area more than anything. They got the crappy mini fridge in the corner. They've got the microwave that probably doesn't work. And a couple of lockers where, like, the locks, like, it even says on the lockers, like, don't put a lock on these. Just really shitty minimum labor break room kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
And there's another door. And I told my wife I'd stop doing the tongue clicking thing, so I need to be better about that.
Does that mean she listened?
She listened to about 2 minutes of it before I did the tongue clicking thing about 10 times, and she said, "Patrick, what in the fuck?" Anyway, so I'm gonna try and be better about it.
Yeah, we're getting off in it. Like, we're both kind of new to all this, and apparently, apparently, you get better with time. But I do believe that people who do this a lot, I'd like to believe that they still have to sit there and say, don't say I feel like, well, maybe it doesn't. My hope is that someday I'm better at not saying or.
Well, after our first podcast, the very first one where I kept playing with shit in front of me, I've got something to play with in my hand now. So
nice.
Top tips. So as long as I don't go a lot, we'll be okay. So here's another segue for you. There's a door on the other side, and it does look like there is a large kind of padlock on it.
Okay. So let me see. There's a padlock. I'm in sort of a locker room where it says don't put any locks. Is it a combo lock or is it a key lock or what kind of padlock?
It's a key lock.
A key lock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go quickly. I'm going to go peek back into the main room where the girl left, sort of abandoned her post. Is she there or has the clock still got her occupied?
Yeah, you don't see her anywhere, but you definitely hear like, "Oh, God damn it! What did he do? What is there a water bottle down there? What is wrong with this guy?"
Right.
Just coming from the bathroom still.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick search to see if she left her keys, like if she has the key to get through that door.
Okay, roll a pyramid of mystery.
Okay. Let's, here we go. 2.
Okay, so there is a ring of keys, but there are about 100 keys on it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to grab them just to have them, but that seems like a long shot.
Okay.
I guess none of them would be marked like, opens magic room to win game.
Roll the die again. Let's see.
Okay. Let me see. 4.
So there's one that has a band-aid wrapped around the top of it.
Okay.
And like a marker X.
Okay.
And that one sticks out to you.
Yeah, let me I'll give that one a shot, see what it does.
Pops it right open.
Nice, very nice. In that case, I'm going to keep the keys. I think
Okay.
cuz who knows what else I'm going to run into.
It's an old dam. Who knows what doors there'll be.
Yeah. So I make my way through the door, but let me say I sort of cautiously open it and take a look through before I go in.
Okay, it's a long kind of utility hallway, right? Like it's gray cement floor, cinder block walls that are whitewashed, and it leads to another door at the end of the hallway.
Okay. All right. And apologies, was there anything... I wasn't given any direction once I got to the Hoover Dam that I can recall, right?
No.
Okay. So I think what I would do...
Although I think above the table you were trying to go there, you thought maybe they would have better computers to access.
Right. So I did have some purpose in mind. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess what I do is I make my way down the hall and I start looking for terminals, workstations, things like that. Start looking for rooms off the main hall.
So this hallway, it is just kind of a straight shot down.
Okay.
But you get to the end of the hallway, and the door's slightly ajar, and you can see that there's what looks like a kind of a main junction point on the other side.
Okay.
And you heading in there? You going back to clog the toilet some more?
I think I'm gonna head in and hope that if I can retcon, I would have sort of tried to close the door as best as possible, and maybe I couldn't maybe lock the door, but if I could sort of put the padlock in a way so like at a quick just glancing past it, you would still see the lock hanging somehow, even if it wasn't really attached, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I can see you doing that. I don't think that's a role. I think we've all hung a padlock somewhere to make it look reasonably.
Yeah.
So, okay, so cool. So you do that, and you enter this junction, and it's like every science fiction movie where you've ever seen, where there's a military industrial complex building, and there's like a bunch of wall signs pointing different directions, and it's like main pump room this way, Dr. Lee's office, 2 stories up, and then a bunch of other kind of gobbledygook for dams that you wouldn't like, hydroelectric static junction box A,
right.
soft science room B, and stuff like that. And then as you go through the list, you see climate controlled server room, 2 stories down, and
Definitely
it gives you a room number. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you doing this cautiously, or are you... I will say it is probably 7 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. So it sounds like the tourism part of this day is closed, and B, I imagine this is not where the tourists would be going. So,
Correct and correct.
Yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'm gonna take it a little slow. Keep an ear for footsteps because I figure they're not expecting me. So maybe it's just the guard sort of swinging the stick, whistling or something.
Sure. Roll me a d4.
Let me see. D4 over here. 2.
Okay, so that guard is walking around. He's a heavy set guy. Looks like he gets too much sun out in the desert.
All right.
And he kind of stops. You follow him around for a little bit. You get down a level, but he posts up in another corner, and he's got this old chair that looks like it's been there since 1937 when the dam was opened.
Yeah.
And he pops a squat down in it. He's got a brown sack there with him, and he pulls out a Twinkie, and he starts just munching on this Twinkie. And you can see on the directory board that you're going to have to get past him to get to the server rooms.
Okay. And does he seem to be coming my way as he eats, or is he just paused and stopped?
Oh no, he's sitting in this chair at an intersection.
Okay. Let me think for a second. See, this is tricky. If I were in the jungle, my Zubaz pants would camouflage me.
If they would, yes, the Bengal Zubaz.
Yeah, but here in the real world, they might stand out. Let me think for a second. So,
did we confirm if you still have the cheap motel bathrobe on, or did you ditch that?
I don't think I went full Lebowski. I think I lost it, but yes, I dressed up. Zubaz in a Def Leppard t-shirt to look presentable.
Yeah, Crocs, I imagine.
Yeah.
But they're not matching Crocs, right?
No, nothing about me matches. Yeah, so I think, yeah. So
Fair
anyway,
enough.
So let me think. So he's stopped in an intersection. I have to get past him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. When I saw the list of names and like where their offices were, was it like a directory of any kind, or like were there like extensions, phone extensions?
Roll a d4.
Yeah, that might be. That's not normal. It's not like you see the doctor's on the 3rd floor, and by the way, his digits are to hit him up. 4.
But in this case, it is exactly like that.
Perfect. So what I would do is I would try and, if I can sort of figure out like I need to go this way, I'd try and find an office the other way, find an extension, and just start. Or wait, is there like a security office?
Yeah. I think that there's like a head security office. Dial 999 on the board.
So that's what I'll dial, hoping that he's like, oh crap, I got to go answer that phone. He might not answer any random ringing phone, but maybe that one he feels obligated to.
Okay. So it's ringing. The line is ringing, and you hear on the other end, like the 4th or 5th ring, you hear, security, this is Dolores.
Above the table. Shit. That's not what I was counting on. Let me think for a second. Let me say, so back. This is Dr. Lee. I'm getting a report that somebody's in my office. Somebody called me and said they're in my office.
Dr. Lee, your voice changed, but
I'm in my car.
Oh, okay, all right, I understand now. You've got one of them fancy car telephones, do you? Reminder that this is set in present day.
I was about to double check. I was like,
yeah, this is set during the present day.
Okay.
And
Dolores
says, well, how would you know if you're in your fancy Jaguar and you're driving down the road with your fancy car phone, how do you know somebody's in your office, Dr. Lee?
Because somebody just called me and said they're in my office.
Well, that seems suspect. Let me see if Wilson's down there. I'll give an all call. You drive safe now, Dr. Lee. They won't remember that they just bumped the speed limit up to 35 miles an hour.
You're a dear, Dolores.
God bless. And she hangs up.
Yeah.
And as you're sitting there, you hear a radio, and then just and he's like got the radio up to his ear, and he's like, what? And he reaches down, he stuffs another like a whole Twinkie into his mouth, and he's got one like to go. He's unwrapping it, and he's like throwing wrappers over his shoulder as he goes.
Honestly, I probably could have just outlived him waiting for him to finish his Twinkies and have a heart attack.
Yeah, that bag does not look half empty at this point. That is a half full Twinkie bag right there.
Yeah.
So and
he's got that I'm not going back mentality with the pack of Twinkies.
he doesn't walk so much as waddle down the hallway.
That checks out, yeah.
And he's swinging his billy stick around, munching, a trail of Twinkie wrappers behind him as he goes.
Yeah.
And there goes Wilson, probably for the last time you'll ever see him alive.
Yeah. All right. But the important thing, second to him about to drop dead, is I assume the hallway's clear.
It is, yes.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so then I'm going to sort of Zubaz tiptoe, just make sure I look around the corner.
What does a Zubaz tiptoe sound like? When Inspector Clouseau walks, Pink Panther plays. Right. So what's playing in your head as you Zubaz toe?
Imagine it's a little pour some sugar on me.
Okay.
But it's not the chorus, it's the hot, so hot and sweet. Like that's how I sort of time my steps. Like da 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 da. Whatever that bridge is, that's how it's sort of like when you do CPR to staying alive.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And so that's how I get down the hallway.
I love it. So you have made it to the door. It's not quite at the end of the hallway. It's a right turn somewhere, and it's
okay.
Main server control.
Cool.
And, yeah.
Can I get in?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. In that case, I'm in. Yeah.
You're in.
And I start looking for I don't know anything about real server rooms, but I've seen in the movies that there's always like that one keyboard that flips down for some reason, and I can start accessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I will give you a Benny if you say it's a Unix system at some point today.
Okay.
So
all right.
I think we made that joke.
I think we did
last time too, and it never gets old.
It's timeless, right?
Oh, hold on to your butts.
Yeah.
All right. How many 80s references can I get in today? Actually, Jurassic Park is not an 80s movie. Is
no, it's 93. But I will definitely have what she's having.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Wow.
There we go.
Yeah.
And scene.
Did you pick a bad day to stop sniffing glue?
Right.
Yeah. Oh God. Excellent. So you're at the flip down keyboard.
Yeah.
And the sysop command gets you in because you are a hacker extraordinaire. So the password is password kind of thing. Right.
So yeah, that's the thing. I sort of look at it and because I am nervous for a second. I've never, as much as I've got my little board of pins and strings connecting conspiracies, I'm not actually a real hacker. I mean, I'm working on 20-year-old hardware.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous when I flip the keyboard down when I'm going to see. And luckily, because it's,
it's
government sector, I look at it and I go, oh my God, it's a Unix system.
Good beanie, Benny right there.
Yeah. So it's like a 20-year-old, probably security holes from here till tomorrow. But, I actually recognize it because it's not that different than the DOS 6 that I'm running at home.
They're perfect.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with all of that. So what are you doing there, Chief? What are you looking for?
So the thing I was looking for was how to get into the Department of Agriculture, but I'm trying to figure out if there's something going on this evening that's going to sort of divert my search first.
Okay.
I want to do... Can I get into... This is a really stupid question. Can I get into the Nevada prison system database? Or is it going to be separate because it's federal state?
Roll a d4.
2. Okay.
So it doesn't appear that you're into the state of Nevada's penitentiary system network, but there is something called, there is a folder in one of the buildings as you're floating around the Unitic system.
Mm-hmm.
That's labeled work exchange program.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So let me pop that open because I wanted to see, like, is there a Dick Nixon running this program?
Okay. All right. So you open it up and there is a single file.
Okay. I am definitely opening that file.
It's a JPEG, and as it slowly, line by line, opens up on this DOS6 system.
Never gonna give you up.
It's the picture of a fortune cookie.
I like that. Okay. Well, I've had plenty of practice waiting for the JPEG to fill in for my dial-up pornography habits.
Yeah, sure.
Back at my sort of by the week motel. So,
oh, that was you talking in character.
Sorry, that was not above the table. Sorry, please. I've got high-speed internet. I'm a gentleman. So let me see, I like that sound because that means you got another one going. Now, what color are the mountains there?
These are slightly bluer. The ones in the fridge are very blue. But
oh, good.
Yeah.
Let's get into drinking a sort of borderline room temperature Coors Light. How is that? How's the mouth feel?
You know, the mouth feel is it's hoppy, but not too hoppy. It's really kind of, it's as if a fizzy water truck drove past a golden field.
Okay.
In Kansas.
Sure.
And you hear the cry of a bald eagle.
Yeah.
And you smell hot dogs cooking on one of those like camper grills, you know, that's got charcoal and that hasn't been cleaned in like 100 years.
Of course.
And the sound of your dad's belt coming out of his loops. And
it's getting dark.
And your mom saying that she never loved him.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. So that's a Coors Light.
Yeah. Crisp, refreshing Coors Light, everybody.
Okay. So let me think. So what were we talking about? We're talking about there's a JPEG of a fortune cookie.
Yes.
Sort of filling in. I just let it play out until I sort of can read the image.
Okay. I bet you can guess what it says.
I assume it says call your mother? Or does it have the numbers?
So it says call your mother's. You call your mother. There's a different number. Like it's still a phone number, and I'm not gonna insult you by coming up with a random phone number on the spot, but it is a different phone number.
Okay. So I'm gonna guess my N-Gage side talker doesn't have reception down here.
That's worth a roll to me, I think.
Okay.
Unless you want it to be difficult to make a phone call with your Sidewinder.
Let's make it tough. Let's make it something.
Okay. So then, yes, no cell service.
Okay. So what I'll do is I need to find a phone.
Okay.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the fact that 5 minutes ago I made a phone call from the hallway to get the guard distracted.
There was a hallway.
Let's say a hallway phone. Okay, great. Yeah. Perfect. So I'm going to start hunting around the server room to see if I can find a phone, like a desk or something like that.
Yeah, I think in a very dusty corner, like it looks like this was somebody's desk in like the mid 60s kind of thing. Like it's got a Rolodex and it's just a ledger book that hasn't been everything. In the drawer there's a decanter of scotch and and there's a rotary phone on the desk and one of the green accountant lights.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm hoping the scotch is cheap.
Extremely.
Cool. I'm going to take a swig and I'm going to start finding that phone number.
Definitely the same mouthfeel as room temperature Coors Light.
Oh, perfect. I give it a little.
Yeah. a little nose sniff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's bottom shelf Evan Williams is.
This was in a plastic bottle at one point.
Yeah. So then I dial that number. I dial that new number.
Okay. So it rings, and you've reached Dolores.
Oh, the woman above the table, the person I just talked to.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm like, oh, Dolores, it's Dr. Lee again. Was there any word on what happened to my office?
Is this Dr. Lee? You're calling from the phone.
Yeah. No, I got home. I can't tell if the connection's completely solid. It might still sound a little funny, but was there anybody in my office?
Dr. Lee, if you're calling from the phone in the server room, you don't have to pretend. Are you calling from the phone in the server room, Dr. Lee?
I am. Yes. Sorry. I just wasn't sure who was listening.
Well, it's Dolores, of course. It's fine, dear. Are you calling about the cookie program?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we can drop the pretense that you're Dr. Lee then, huh, sugar?
Okay. Then, yeah, I will stop lying to you like an idiot.
That's fine. Everybody starts out that way, sugar. So, you're calling about the fortune cookie program.
Yes.
You want to be indoctrinated into the fortune cookie program.
Above the table. Indoctrinated has a very peculiar, but George Cox is like, yeah.
Good. Go to server number 18 and open the back of it.
Okay. Am I looking for something specific or just do that and it'll go from there?
You'll understand when you get there.
Okay.
And you hear the receiver click.
Okay. So I start, I sort of jot that down if there's a piece of paper. I don't know why.
It's very dusty. You sneeze.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then I just start looking okay, 4, 6. Okay, this side's even, that side's odd. Mm-hmm. And I start going down the row until I find 18.
You do, and you find 18, and it doesn't look like any of the none of the lights are lighting up. None of the. It's just it looks like a dead server.
I check to see if it's plugged in, or if it even has a power cord. I don't know how servers.
They usually, yes, it's plugged in, as far as you can tell.
Okay. I look for. You said it looks dead, so I'm not seeing hard drive lights. I'm not seeing.
Correct. Yeah. No status lights.
Okay. I think in that case, what I would do is I would, I guess, try turning it off, turning it back on. I'd look for some kind of power switch.
So as you're rooting around on the back of the server cabinet, and on the back of all the server cabinets that you've passed, there's usually a door on the back so that you can open it up and look at the wire connections on the back.
Okay.
So that's slightly ajar in the back.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let me pull that door open and really get in there.
Okay. You see that the front is a very carefully constructed facade. Looks like it was painted in some amazingly intricate detail to make it look 3D, even though it's all dead. But the reason it's painted is because when you open the back, there is a ladder leading down on the inside of this server cabinet.
I'm going down that ladder.
It's very dark, but you descend for what feels like, God, forever. It takes you 10 minutes of climbing down this ladder. So as far as you can tell, you're probably near the base of the Hoover Dam at this point, and you can hear kind of above you the turbines turning, and you could hear the rushing water. It's pretty far off sounding, but there is the sound like you are in the belly of the beast at this point.
Okay.
And as you exit the server cabinet, Um, there's a single unshaded bulb hanging in this room, and there's a woman with a beehive hair and uh, pearls and pearl earrings and very 60s looking horn rimmed glasses and everything. Says,
Perfect.
"I'm Dolores."
I'm not Dr. Lee.
Yes, we know. Mr. Cox, if you'll please follow me to your new office.
Perfect. And I'm for the first time, I'm sort of slightly self-conscious that I'm not really dressed for the office. I put on my best, but it's not, I'm a little awkwardly sort of looking down at my, like, oh my God. Okay.
She notices this and she says, "Mr. Cox, we'll take care of that for you, sir.
Okay.
We've got your measurements. Your mother sent you a suit. It's all prepared in your office. If you'll just follow me, Mr. Cox."
All right. So yeah, so I follow her, and as we're walking, I assume we don't we have a little bit of time as we're walking to wherever we're going.
Yeah, it's just down a really obscenely long hallway, and the only lights that you see are just like every 15 feet there's another unshaded bulb just glowing, and you hear dripping. Like it doesn't feel like the bottom of a dam should have these noises and sounds
Right.
and dripping, but you're not an engineer, so this is it's all, you're not a structural engineer, civil engineer, so this is all kind of lost on Cox.
Okay. Yeah, so as we're going, I'm sort of trailing a few steps behind Dolores, and I just kind of say somewhat offhandedly, I'm like, Dolores, I don't know if I found you or if you found me. I feel like everything's been leading me to here this evening.
Well, honey, nothing in this world, you should know, for who you work with, everything is predetermined. You should just know that. So it wouldn't have mattered if you found us or not. We would have found you, or maybe you would have found us. Who knows?
Everything's predetermined.
Every single thing.
And do you know the predetermination, or you just accept that that's how things work?
Oh, we all know. In the fortune cookie organization, we all know where this is leading to.
Okay. Are you happy with
it? Give or take.
Okay. Am I going to be happy with it?
Maybe.
Okay. So you knew I was going to clog that toilet?
Oh, don't worry about Tamika upstairs. She bitches about everything. She did tell me to tell you that you could have just asked, and that you're an asshole for making her clean it up right before close.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't even think to ask her. I don't know if there's like a secret handshake or something I should.
It's the goddamn Herbert Hoover Dam. Nobody comes to visit this place, but members of the Fortune Cookie Cat organization.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know.
Name the last time you met a tourist who was like, "Oh, honey, we've got the greatest vacation plans. We're going to Nevada in the desert to stare at a giant concrete wall." Just nobody fucking does that.
Right. All right. So yeah, so I sort of nod and like, point taken. Then I guess I just keep following her, and I'm like, this seems like a lot to go through for me. Usually nobody cares what I do either way. So it's kind of, it's hard to believe that all of this was done to get me to this point.
I mean, don't feel special. We do this for everybody, hon.
Okay.
You should hear Otto's story about he was inducted to the cookie club. It's wild. He was an actual real sized lizard at one point, don't you know? And then he was living in Florida in a really nice pond and some flowers, but here he is now. So it's all wonderful. It's a good time.
All right.
So And as they're having this conversation, or as you're having this conversation, you come to a big set of double doors, and they're very ornate for what this whole place is.
Okay.
And she says, "This will be your office here, Mr. Cox. And as far as you know, you didn't pass any other doors on the way here."
Okay.
She opens the door and motions you inside.
I feel like I should have a million questions, but as we get to my office, I sort of let that take over and start sort of like, trying to take it in.
Mm-hmm. So in your office, there's a desk in the middle of the room and a bunch of it's very Mad Men, it's very 60s. So there's a very old looking computer terminal sitting on top of the desk.
Okay.
There is a change of clothes into a 3-piece suit hanging on the back of the door. And instead of like a bowl of mints or a bowl of Skittles or something that would be on somebody's desk, it's just a giant bucket of fortune cookies. And like the art on the wall, is it's a painting, like a really nice painting, but it's of a fortune cookie. And it's just like the motif, the rug is fortune cookie shaped. Like it's a little quiche at this point.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. And it's, there you go. And she says, just call if you need anything, hon. And she shuts the door and walks away.
Okay. Well, I sort of check the suit. Is it kind of like just a off the rack kind of thing, or can I tell like this actually might be like maraschino or whatever wool or something high end?
It looks like it was made to fit you and only you.
Okay.
Like it's pretty high end.
Okay.
Yeah. And when you open the flap, you see that the inside paneling is all like miniature fortune cookies.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a note attached to the lapel that says, "Thought you'd look good in this, hun. XO, Mom."
Okay. And just to qualify, it's merino wool. Maraschino is the cherry. Just so.
I mean, it might be maraschino wool.
Yeah, no, I think it's right. What I meant to say is merino wool, not maraschino cherries. Okay, so just
yes,
just to correct that in real time.
Yep. Good catch.
Yeah. So let me think for a second. I think I'm gonna change into the suit.
Okay.
So I peel off the Zubaz.
Mm-hmm.
And
R.I.P.
Yeah, and the only thing more stained than my Def Leppard t-shirt are my tighty whities. And so
we'll say there's a new pair of those there too if you want.
I want. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I get completely changed, and I guess I just take what I had and I look for a garbage, and if there's a garbage can, I just drop it in.
There is, but it's fortune cookie shaped, so you really don't know like how to open it. Like it looks very expensive.
Okay.
But there is one, and you figure it out eventually.
Okay.
Or do you just lay it on top?
If I fail to do that, I just open the bottom drawer to my desk and throw my old clothes and underwear in there.
Okay. The bottom drawer of your desk is also full of fortune cookies.
I sort of grab a handful and I just sort of make a big pile on my desk until there's enough room to put my clothes.
Okay.
And then, I haven't eaten much today. And so I'm going to open up a fortune cookie. And I look at the fortune, but it's also to eat.
Okay. So it's the best goddamn fortune cookie you've ever eaten, first of all.
Okay.
Like, I don't know about you, but fortune cookies kind of taste like week old plastic.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of gross.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, as far as fortune cookies go, like it tastes like somebody's mom made it. like that morning, or
Right.
like an hour ago. It's still slightly warm. Like it's
Okay.
yeah. And the fortune inside is it's a what do you want the fortune to be? What would you
Um,
like the fortune to be?
that's a good question. That is a really good question. I want the fortune to be less about. Well, let me walk that back. I don't know how specific I think I want the fortune to be eerily directed at me. It's not like a general, like, you're gonna find sunshine around the corner, keep your chin up.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to access the computer and you're gonna try and hack something you're not supposed to. Like, it knows what I'm thinking. So I'm seeing the computer and I still have the mission in mind, even though all this stuff is going on. And the fortune cookie says you're gonna do the bad thing that you're thinking of doing.
Yes, I love it. I will say, maybe instead of you're going to hack the computer,
Okay.
it's going to say you're going to log in. It says you should log into your computer and check your email.
Okay. I can't work with that. No. Yeah. Yeah. So it's literally like, so yeah, I sort of munch on it and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And I turn around and it for a moment, it really, it still frightens me until I then put it into the context of literally every other thing that's happened this evening. That it makes it seem like, this actually isn't the weirdest thing. So it's not quite so edge of the cliff terrifying. So I do that. I sort of turn around and I go click, and I assume it's like those old like IBM,
Yeah,
like click click, like the yeah.
Oh yeah, very mechanical feeling. Very yes, like every workstation in the show Severance is what I'm picturing.
That's perfect.
So.
Okay, yeah. So I then I follow the instructions. I log into my email.
Okay, there is a single email waiting for you, and it's from Travelocity. And it's thank you for booking your round trip ticket from Las Vegas International Airport to Washington Dulles.
Okay, that's perfect because I've got to see a man about a Department of Agriculture.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think what I would do is I would sort of check for the itinerary just to see like, do I have a day? Am I actually late? Do I need to book right now and run to the airport?
So it's for tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, so I've got a little time. Do I have a phone on my desk?
Yes.
Okay. Are there actually any numbers on the phone to dial, or is it just somehow it knows who just connects me to Dolores or somebody?
Yeah, I like that. It's just a one-way line to Dolores, and she can connect you to whoever you want.
Okay. So I pick up. So at first I'm like, and I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello?
Mr. Cox, you rang.
Oh, thank God, Dolores. Okay. Hey, I just checked my email and I've got apparently a flight to Washington Dulles tomorrow, but I don't have a car. Do I need to worry about that, or is the Fortune Cookie organization on top of that part of the trip?
Well, our primary rental vendor is Enterprise, but I think when in doubt, Mr. Cox, here at the Fortune Cookie Company, we have a saying, and that's just open another goddamn fortune cookie.
Okay. That is good to know.
Yeah, and you'll see. It's just like I said, everything is predetermined, Mr. Cox.
Okay. So I'm like, you know what? I'll stop bothering you, Dolores. I really appreciate it. Putting up with the new guy, and thanks again. And I sort of hang up.
Before you hang up, she says, "Don't forget to leave the trash can out your door on Friday afternoons so that the cleaning crew can get it." And then she clicks.
Okay. Maybe it's not that important. Do I know what day it is? Is it?
It's Friday.
Okay. So yeah. So I just grab another fortune cookie, and I guess I'm still probably hungry, and so I'm definitely gonna eat this one. But then I now know I need to read the fortunes to see what I'm supposed to do.
There you go. 1 second. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So you grab a fortune cookie and you pop it open.
Yeah.
And the number is, it says your reservation number, and then it gives you your reservation number.
Perfect. Okay. And that's going to get me from the Hoover Dam to Las Vegas Airport.
Maybe.
Okay. So
there's a lot of fortune cookies on your desk.
Okay. So I open up the next one, hoping that it's going to confirm or tell me how to get from the Hoover Dam to the airport.
So the one that you open up says, put on your Def Leppard shirt and hitch a ride with Otto in his F-150.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess, so I'm both disappointed that I'm supposed to get changed back into my old clothes and relieved that I had saved them in my desk drawer.
Roll a D4.
Okay. Let's see. There we go. D4. 1. Ooh.
Okay. I'll say as you reach into your desk drawer, you pull out your Def Leppard shirt.
Okay.
And another fortune cookie breaks, but the note inside the fortune cookie falls out and is slithered. It falls into the mass of fortune cookies underneath.
Oh, okay. So I'll have to root around to try and find the slip of paper. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna try and
roll another D4.
3. Okay. Okay.
No, a 3 or 4 is a success.
It's good, right?
You only crack a couple of fortune cookies as you reach in.
Okay.
None of them break, but you manage to fish out the note. And it says, what do I want this one to say? It'll give you directions on how to get from the room that you're in to the parking lot in the Hoover Dam parking lot, visitors parking lot.
Okay, perfect.
And it's amazing because you just keep pulling this fortune
right.
It just keeps coming. Yeah.
Okay. So so I get changed. I'm not a very organized man, so I sort of wad up that fortune cookie and shove it in my Zubaz pocket of paper. And then I think I grab a cluster as much as my hand can hold for the road, and I stick that in my other pocket.
Okay. So you've got a fistful of, instead of a fistful of dollars, you have a fistful of fortune cookies.
Right. That's in my left pocket. My right pocket is my N gauge and my crumpled up directions to the parking lot.
Okay.
Fortune cookie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so long that it hangs out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. All right. So are you headed up to the parking lot?
Is there anything else? Can the computer terminal do anything else?
What would you like it to do? What do you want to attempt to do?
I want to see. Is it sort of one of those things that's press 1, if I'm remembering the show Severance, the computer locks you into doing certain things. It's not maybe literally this, but it's press 1 to check your email, press 2 to, or is it actually a normal computer where I can sort of
I think it's more like a regular computer.
Okay. All right.
Than the Severance work.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to I'm sort of naturally curious. So
okay.
I would just see, does it look like, I know this, it's Unix. Is it something I recognize? Is it something I can get into a little bit? Can I get to the root directory to see what file folders are on there or anything weird?
Yeah, I think with your specialities that you have, you've got digital theft. So I think that that would apply. You could apply your hacking, your hackitude,
right?
To get this. And really, it's just you hit the Windows button and it pops up. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So So yeah, I just sort of poke around to see if there's anything about the fortune cookie company that's like, does it have an IT department? Does it, is there just general info?
Yeah, I think there's a directory in the computer,
Okay.
and it's you can go through it. There's hundreds of names, and it's like, oh, IT manager, IT associate, legal, crop rotation specialist, lizard wrangler. Like
Right.
it runs the breadth of like totally benign like office admin to Xenon 6 coordinator, flashing lights only, like in
Okay.
parentheses, like
Yeah.
it's going through the gambit.
Okay. Is there any Dick Nixon on the list?
Yes, there's only one, and
Okay.
that's surprising because there were about 100 Steves.
Okay. Does it say what his department is by any chance?
Talent management.
You're damn right. I'm the talent. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So I feel like I've gotten a slight window into. There's a part of me that knows that I could spend the rest of my life just on this computer trying to figure stuff out, and I need to pull myself away from it because I've got a job to do. So,
Okay.
So I start sort of following the fortune cookie directions to the visitors parking lot in that case.
Okay. All right. It takes a minute.
Okay.
But as you're walking, like you're still not convinced that anybody else works here because you don't pass any other doors.
Okay.
But like the directions have you taking junctions and stairs. There's an escalator at one point. Like it's bizarre. You swear you pass through the same corridor like 3 times.
Right. Okay.
And then suddenly you're back in the gift shop. Like you open another door into the break room.
Okay.
And of which above the table there was only one door to get in when you like yeah, but you pop out back in.
Okay. So suddenly there's a second. Sorry. So there's a second door now, or did I just end up exactly where I started?
It's the same door, but you definitely went a different way.
Definitely went a different way. Okay. Okay. I guess that's shouldn't be entirely surprising given some of the things that happened the night before. But is Tamika still there?
Yes.
So there's 2 things. One, I absolutely cannot look her in the eye. And 2, I just sort of head down like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know. I'm really sorry. I owe you lunch or something. I need to make it up to you, and I'm really sorry.
Roll a d4.
But let me see for a second.
Oh.
No, I'm not going to emotionally sneak. This is sincere.
Okay.
So I'll roll a d4. I was trying to figure. I rolled a 3. Okay.
So she's sitting there. She's in the break room with you, and she's like dumping water out of her tennis shoe as you're saying this.
Oh, okay.
And wiping she's like wringing toilet paper out of her hair.
Wow.
But she looks at you and she's like, "It's all right, Mr. Cox. I understand. You had to do what you had to do."
Can I ask you a question, Tamika?
Sure.
Did you know who I was when I came in?
Well, you see, Mr. Cox, and she sheepishly holds up a fortune cookie paper. And she says, "Yeah, I knew who you were."
Okay. And did you know I was going to clog the toilet?
She holds up a very limp and wet fortune cookie paper. Yeah.
Okay. Did it ever occur to you to stop me and just say, wink, let me help you out, sir?
The fortune cookies don't tell us to do that. I didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't given instructions in a fortune cookie to do that.
Okay. So you didn't think you know what? I'm going to save everybody some time. I'm just going to cut him off at the pass and let him in.
Mr. Cox, I wouldn't go around saying such unorthodox things. We here at the Fortune Cookie Company believe in doing things very by the, not really the book, because it doesn't, a book does it. We've tried to fit a book at the Fortune Cookie. It doesn't work.
Okay. I could see that. Did you then just accept you were going to have a bad day when you saw what the Fortune Cookie said and was going to put you through?
Yeah, I mean, nobody says I had to like what the Fortune Cookies are going to put me through.
Okay. All right. Okay, just sort of getting a bearing of how everything works around here. I appreciate it. And I'm, again, very, very sorry.
I accept your apology. It was inevitable.
What happens to the people that don't completely subscribe to the inevitable?
She just looks at you. She's very, like, blank-faced. She doesn't, like, it doesn't even compute.
And then I say, I pull from my pocket a fortune cookie and I toss it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, let's see if that tells you.
She opens it up, and it says she chuckles and hands you the fortune cookie and walks out, and it says, "It's time to go home. You should eat. You should pick up some Arby's on the way home."
And I'm like, Tamika, are you going to Arby's, or did she know it was for me?
You hear the bell jingling, of the front door.
Okay, so I say, all right, and so yeah, I decide, actually, some Arby's sounds good right now, and so yeah, I go looking for the parking lot. I continue whatever the rest of the journey is on the instructions to the parking lot.
Yeah, you walk out the door, and Tamika's nowhere to be seen. But you do see a pair of headlights recede, or a pair of taillights receding, like out of the gate.
Okay.
You do see a beat up F-150 sitting with the engine idling in the closest parking spot, in a handicap spot, and there's a handicap sticker dangling from the window.
Okay. And is Otto driving?
Yeah, with his one arm.
Cool. So does he is it like, oh, hey, good to see you? Or is it like, sir, can I help you?
He sticks his head out and he waves with his other arm.
Right. Okay.
His arm holding an arm.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Okay. In that case, then I hop in. Yeah, I hop in.
All right. And he cuts turns down the Def Leppard that he was listening to.
Sweet.
And he rolls down the window. Once again, you have to like shimmy in between the cigarette butts. And he's got like two in one hand.
Okay.
And he's like smoking them three at a time.
Yeah.
And he's actually got them like shoved into the fingers of the arm that fell off.
Right. He's like,
and he's exactly.
Yeah. Perfect.
He says, "You ready to roll, boss?"
Sure am. Otto, let's hit it.
All right. Las Vegas, viva Las Vegas. And you see him reach down and pop open a fortune cookie, and he doesn't look at the note. He just throws it out the window and eats the fortune cookie.
And I go like, "Oh, are you supposed to do that?" Or you sort of...
I see. I just gave up on reading them. Whatever happens, I just assume the fortune cookies. Foresaw.
Okay. And you like surprises?
In this line of work, yes.
Okay. All right. Feel like Arby's?
He chuckles as he's pulling into an Arby's.
Of course. I should have known. All right.
I really wanted a Jamocha shake more than anything, but now that you say it, I'm kind of hungry. I kind of want a gyro.
All right, let's fill up. Let's get the meats.
Yeah. He orders a gyro and a Jamocha shake. He looks at you. What would you like?
I'm gonna get a Big Montana extra horsey sauce. Is that still a sandwich? Is a Big Montana?
I have no idea. The
It's
last
good
time
enough.
it's been a long time.
It's been a minute since I've eaten at Arby's. Yeah, so I order just whatever has like the most egregious amount of meat on it. And I thought there was some kind of big mountain, Big Montana. I don't know.
It's something, sure.
Yeah,
So,
and they've got the decent like spicy curly fries, right?
yeah.
So I hit some of those, and I'm a simple man when it comes to beverages, and I just get a Dr. Pepper.
23 complex flavors.
And again, I sort of
That's the mouth feel.
yeah. What am I getting? Am I getting the third or the fifth, or is this actually all 23 at once?
Otto leans over and he says, "I'll tell you the secret with Dr. Pepper. It's just fucking vanilla."
And so with that, I kind of like, oh, because now that he said it, that's all I can taste.
Yeah.
And
he
son of a bitch.
He pats you on the shoulder and hands you a broken fortune cookie that says exactly that. It's Dr. Pepper is just vanilla.
Okay, so having done that, I think what I'm gonna do, I just have a meal. Like we're two human beings / lizards enjoying the meats, and so I just sort of, we can go into it as deeply or as superficially as you want. I just sort of try and get his story, like how, hey, I heard you were a literal lizard, and now you here are working for the government, having Arby's with me, discussing sort of kind of big questions in life. And yeah, I was just curious how that came to be.
Shit, man, it's been a wild ride. Back when I grew up on my pond, and we used to play the banjo and sing "It Ain't Easy Being Green," as a lizard, because that fucking frog stole that song from us. That's our song, and he goes off on a tangent about that, for a couple of minutes, but then he talks about how, as a lizard in a pond with a flower, one day he found the crumbs of a fortune cookie, and he could, not that he knew what it was because he was a fucking lizard,
Right.
He felt the urge to look at the piece of paper that was there, and he could understand it. And then he's been following them damn cookies ever since. So all the way from Florida to Montana to Xenon 6,
Sure.
back to Florida, which he preferred to Xenon 6,
as one does. Yeah.
Yes, and then all the way out here to Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Getting slightly bigger. He thinks that he got bigger on Xenon 6.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that tracks.
Yeah. I mean, if
it's not going to be Montana.
Yeah. You feel real small in Montana, even if you are real big.
Yeah. Is he glad it happened? So I just sort of say, like, you glad at how things turned out, or sometimes you miss just being a lizard?
I mean, in my heart of hearts, I am still just a lizard,
Yeah.
And it's a good life. He licks his eyeball at that point.
Okay.
And he just kind of nods and smokes on his 4 cigarettes at this point.
Right.
And sets it back down. Whatever the next comical amount of cigarettes is, he will always have in +1 cigarettes.
Okay. And I'm like, so do you know Dick Nixon?
Oh, I know Dickie.
So was that all part of it? Like, did you know he was going to come at us with the bus, and did you know what was going to, or did you just sort of assume this fortune cookie that told you that was going to happen would make it all work out?
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you, Georgie. I'm still a lizard. I don't actually know how to read the fortune cookies.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of faking it till I make it. And management hasn't found out that I still can't read.
Yeah.
But here we are. So I assume that the fortune cookie said, hey, let the bus hit you, and here we are. So I mean,
Okay.
it worked out. It worked out all right. So must be predetermined.
Yeah. That's a word that's come up a lot in the last couple hours.
It's a good word. It was on
yeah.
Jeopardy the other night.
So, do you like having things go this way? Do you like knowing that it's all lined up already and you just have to let it happen?
I mean, I'd already been dead if I was just a lizard. So,
True enough.
Life is good. There ain't no owls to eat me.
Right.
No fish to eat me.
Yeah.
Snakes to eat me. I mean, all of those things, given enough time, energy, and effort, could still eat me, but it's significantly less likely to happen at this point.
Okay. So in that case,
I think during this conversation, he started driving again. Like,
okay,
you guys are on the open road up to Las Vegas at this point.
Yeah. And so finally I'm like, Otto, this is all new to me, so I got a lot of questions, but I imagine that must be kind of annoying to deal with. So if you want, we can just enjoy the breeze. If you got Def Leppard, it seems like on the radio, we can just listen to tunes.
Well, what's amazing is really everything, no matter what station I put on in this truck, it always seems to pick up Def Leppard. Even if I change the channels, it's always Def Leppard.
I'm guessing he can't read my shirt. If he can't read the fortune cookies.
You see one eye swivel over, and he's like, nope, can't read a goddamn thing.
Okay. Well, do you want to turn the radio off, or are you okay with some Def Leppard?
We can listen to some Def Leppard.
All right. So...
And he does his last bit of advice before he cranks up Def Leppard again. So he says, I tell you what, you're lucky you can read. When in doubt, man, just read a fortune cookie.
Okay. So, yeah, even though I'm stuffed from the Big Montana Arby's sandwich and the spiced curly fries, I crack open a fortune cookie just to see what it has to say at this point.
It says, it says, night, night.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, you know what, Otto, you do whatever you want with the radio. If you don't mind, I'm going to catch some winks. And
it's at this point that a knight riding another knight drive. No, I'm just kidding. No, you pass out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Not literally. You just fall asleep.
Okay.
And you sleep the sleep of the dead. No dreams. No tossing and turning. No anything. Just 8 solid hours of restful sleep. And yes, it has been 8, because when you wake up, you are on final approach into Washington Dulles. And you hear over the radio or over the intercom, this is your Captain Dick Nixon speaking. We'll be approaching Washington Dulles in about 5 minutes. Everybody sit back, relax, tray tables and seats in the upright position. And we have a very special birthday boy on the plane today. We'd like to let's give a long round of applause to Mr. George Cox. Everybody, Mr. George Cox. Happy birthday, little guy.
And so I turn to see if they're actually applauding toward me, or if there was actually a little boy somewhere on the plane and they're all like looking over their shoulder, and the mom's kind of like.
So I think I think everybody's like in their phone or on their tablet or reading books or whatever. So there's like a small scattering of like like just really, really like 2 or 3 people clapped once or twice, and that was it.
Okay. And above the table, like, is it actually George Cox's birthday? Like, is it?
Do you want it to be?
I want to say no. That somehow this is something else, and I don't quite understand it.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think it's his birthday.
Okay. So then, yeah, I guess it's time, to crack another fortune cookie. Well, yeah, I guess we land and okay, what's my next step here in Washington?
Roll a d4.
Okay. I had an idea of what to do, but...
Okay, what do you want to attempt to do?
Well, my initial instinct was I want to go start figuring out the Department of Agriculture, but now this whole thing is like I'm doubting what I want, if that makes sense. Like, I think that's what I want, but now I feel like I need to confirm that that's actually...
Maybe that's what the fortune cookie always wanted you to do.
Right, and so I'm kind of like, let me just see, if it's lining up.
All right. Well, you got a 4. So whatever you want to happen to get you to your next location, I was going to say just above the table. I had you roll to see if you had any fortune cookies left, or if if you'd made it through security with fortune cookies.
Okay.
And had you failed that, I think you would have had fortune cookies, but they would have all been crushed in your pocket. So all of the notes would have been tangled up together.
Okay. So in that case, let's say the fortune cookie, says something like, keep an eye out for a driver.
Okay.
At the gate.
All right.
Like how they have the signs that,
Mm-hmm.
say Mr. Cox, and it's a guy in like a black suit waiting for me. Yeah. So that's what it tells me.
Absolutely. So there's a guy, and he's standing there. He's got your name.
Okay.
And
so I approach it and I look at the sign. I'm like, usually it's spelled COX, but I think you mean me.
Spelling lost in translation.
Okay. So I'm like, yeah, let's head out. I appreciate it. And so I just let him lead.
Very good, Mr. Dick. And he walks you to a giant Land Rover. Or it's a Land Cruiser. We'll go with a Land Cruiser.
Nice.
He opens the door for you. To you with your ridiculous pants and Def Leppard shirt and mismatched Crocs.
Yeah. Might be the fanciest thing I've ever been in, including a home that I've occupied.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay.
This is definitely the ritziest. There's like a glass of champagne waiting for you. And it doesn't look like it came out of a plastic bottle. So there you go.
Okay.
And he gets in and just starts driving.
All right. And so I just sort of, the way everybody sort of does with, maybe not everybody, but with car services where like you need directions or you got it. Like sometimes, like they just say GPS and then I'm good. But
I use Waze.
Okay. All right. But do you know where you're going or you need me?
The car was sent for you, not you have sent for car.
Got it. Okay. You know what? I'm going to let you take the wheel and just let me know if you need anything.
It would be bad if I did not take wheel. I am driver.
Very true. All right.
Would you prefer I did not take wheel?
Do you believe in fortune?
No.
Okay. You should take the wheel then.
And he like as you're saying that, he's rolling the partition up.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh man, it's so great to be in the new Sig Thunt. I'm like, oh, okay. We're not talking anymore. All right.
Yeah, and then the lights start flashing. It says, "Welcome to Cash Cab." No, I'm just
and I realize my N gauge doesn't have tap to pay, and I cannot. So I guess in that case, I sip on the champagne, realizing that I could really get used to this.
The champagne tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Oh. But Dr. Pepper has been ruined.
Yeah. So it just tastes like vanilla.
Ugh. All right. Well, it's still champagne, I guess, so I'm not going to let it go to waste. Okay. Yeah, and sort of I don't know if I'm familiar with Washington, D.C., but I just sort of watch out the window and sort of take it all in as we make our way to wherever we're going.
Roll a d4.
Okay.
To see how familiar with Washington D.C. you are.
2.
Okay, I think that
Not
you're
really.
just excuse me, you're distracted by the weird flavor.
Okay.
You think you might get some cherry too.
Okay.
Um,
Hints.
yeah,
Okay.
hence an aftermouth feel of orange rind.
Sure. That's my favorite
Uh,
kind.
yeah, it's a real back of the throat kind of flavor,
Yeah.
and, and you're like,
I have to let it get all over my whole tongue, my uvula. That's the real thing. Nobody respects the uvulas.
it's got so many more taste buds than the rest of your mouth.
Yeah, I know. It's like you just gotta let it wash over the little. Yeah. So,
I think at this point, as you're gargling, you choke a little bit, so your eyes are like watering, and you can't see. You
Right.
can't see what's going on outside the windows
okay.
as you're choking to death.
That's the thing. Like, that's the risk of being a true connoisseur.
Yes.
Sometimes you're gonna choke when you're gargling your own uvula.
Yeah, art is pain. So
Sorry,
yeah.
this is fly. So it's kind of funny. Like, we don't. All of a sudden, I was like, okay, let's get everything set up, and then all of a sudden, like, a fly like landed on one of my lights, and it's been like going back and forth across the camera lens the whole night. And I don't want to be ridiculous and like try and fly swat like a moron and miss. So anyway, I apologize for that.
No, you're good. I'm sitting in this hotel room thinking I'm getting a little noisome for the neighbors. So I might go into super close mode here.
Oh yeah, that proximity effect.
Gotta get right in there.
So hot. Okay.
Yeah. So how are you going to pay for this taxi? There are several ways. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Cash, grass, or never mind.
Yeah.
It's on the bumper sticker of this.
Right. Or Apple Pay.
Yeah, or Apple Pay. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I sort of like catch my breath after choking on the champagne, and I guess, and then I just realize, yeah, I have no idea where I am, and I just let the car
Okay.
take me.
Well, just about as you decide that, the car stops.
Oh.
And Dimitri gets out and opens the door. He says, "You stop, Mr. Cox."
And so I sort of, and take in my surroundings, and like, am I in the middle of the highway? But I trust him. So I start opening the door and stepping out of the vehicle.
Yeah. So you're in front of the Pentagon.
Oh.
And he says, "Make sure to leave me 5-star review," and gets in and drives off.
Okay. I wish I could on my N-Gauge, but I don't know if I can. But maybe I sort of make a note to myself, like, give Dimitri a 5-star review when I get to a real machine.
Okay. All right. Good. So you're standing outside the Pentagon. You've made it to Washington, D.C. You have yet to make it to the Department of Agriculture.
Right. And so, man, if anybody could hack into the Department of Agriculture, it's the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let me think for a second.
Okay.
Do I have any fortune cookies left?
Yes, we'll say that you have a couple left.
Okay. I pop one open.
Okay. It says find. I don't want to use a real person's name, so because that would be too political. That'd be too meta. Find General Billings.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, when a guy wearing Zubaz pants and a Def Leppard t-shirt walks into the front door of the Pentagon, they open up roll out the welcome mat. So I'm just going to go in the front door.
Okay. So you walk in, and it feels very similar to what the DMV feels like. I've never been inside the Pentagon, so I don't know.
I confess I've never been either.
I'm just assuming, or have we? I'm just assuming that it feels like every other government building.
Right.
So again, beige carpets or dark carpets
Okay.
and white washed walls and like clocks, and
Yeah.
there's like there's a ticket counter like at a deli meat thing. You take your number.
Okay. Yeah. I'll now serving and grab my ticket.
Yeah, it's 69, which is funny for about 2 seconds. And then and you hear a very familiar voice as you grab your ticket. Now serving number 69.
And so I look for the beehive haircut at one of the help desks, and
There it is.
Yeah, and so I beeline for that. Yeah, that's what you can expect. That rapier wordplay.
Just
Yeah,
the finest. It's really our wordplay is so good when we use words like uvula. So
right.
So Dolores is sitting there. She says, "I thought we got you a new suit."
You did, but then one of the fortune cookies.
She holds up a hand. She says, "No farther. I understand."
Okay. Should I put on a suit now?
It would be too tacky at this point. It's too late. They've already seen you.
Okay. It'd be weird, right?
It'd be very weird for you to change in the front lobby of the Pentagon.
Look, I've been thrown out of classier places, but I know what you're saying. Okay. So yeah, I say, okay, I'm looking for General Billix. Got anyone here by that names?
General Billix. I think he's one of Oz.
Okay.
And she reaches under her desk and pushes a button, and like a green come through light pops up behind her desk, and she says, "You just follow the signs."
All right. Then yeah, I do exactly that.
Okay. Roll a d4 for me.
Okay. 4. All right.
Okay, so nobody thinks it's strange that a guy in a Def Leppard suit or a Def Leppard shirt is walking around the Pentagon unescorted.
Right. If you do it with confidence, yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have a hard hat on. Like you're just straight freeballing it through the fucking Pentagon.
All right.
Okay, you make it to General Billings.
Billings.
Billings' desk.
Okay.
Like it's a door. Yeah, his office.
Yeah, and I just give it a quick knock, knock, knock.
Come in.
And yeah, I just sort of, again, the way I just sort of, and stick my head through. I'm like, General Billings?
He says, come in.
And so I sort of like, quickly open the door and sort of spin through and close it quickly because I'm not quite sure what's going on and being a little paranoid.
He looks at you. He's very confused. He says, "What? Aren't you the Uber Eats guy?"
No. And I pull out a fortune cookie if I have any left.
You do, and
I'm like, does this mean anything to you?
Well, I mean, I would really like the broccoli chicken that goes with that, but I mean, if that's what you're bringing me, I guess that's what I get to eat for lunch today.
Yeah, and I sort of toss it to him. I'm like, oh, go ahead, take a read, have a bite.
So he roll a d4 again.
All right. Ooh, 1.
So he opens it, pops the cookie in his mouth, and he's chewing, and you see this look on his face. And he's very confused, and he hands you the fortune cookie paper, and it's completely blank. And it's at this point that you hear him start to talk with his mouth full, and he says, for these cookies, I find that it's best if you really, to get the full flavor, you really have to get it really far back.
I know, right?
In your uvula.
Nobody does that.
As soon as he says uvula, like tilts his head back to swallow it like a baby bird, he starts to choke on the fortune cookie. And like, it's not a light choke. Like this dude is purple right now.
Oh, okay. Then I gotta spin him around and give him some of that sweet, sweet Heimlich.
Okay, roll a d4 again.
Oh, General. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he is choking to death, and he's like smacking the walls and things. Like he's
Okay.
Jim carrying around the office.
Right.
Like his fish tank that he had in the corner is shattered. Like he's making a huge ruckus.
Okay.
As he chokes to death.
I open the door and I just scream like, "We need some help in here. The General's choking. General needs help."
Okay, and a bunch of people, like a Marine on guard, comes running down. He's like, "Move! Get out the way!"
Yeah.
And he like shoves you out of the way, and he's in there, and you see like up, bunch of guys run by with the stretcher, and
Yeah.
they run in, and everybody seems pretty focused on General Billings right now.
Okay. In the sense like I could rifle through his desk, or I could start taking a walk.
Well, you could try to rifle through his desk, but there are a couple of Marines in there now with him as he's, foaming at the mouth with fortune cookies wrapped around his uvula.
That's an image. Okay. I think I would sort of step out into the hallway to give him space and just see, like, is there like any other doors of interest? Is there something nearby that I'm getting guided to via Billings choking?
There's a couple of other like high-ranking generals' offices around, and a couple of them you see like somebody opening the door. They're like sticking their head out, like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, it's just Billings. Like he tried to swallow something wrong again.
That's so Billings.
It's just fucking Billings.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of offices, but then you see farther down the hallway, the doors get farther interspersed, and it's like a conference room, like a stairwell, and just usual kind of office stuff.
Okay.
Break room.
Okay. I think do I have any more fortune cookies?
Sure.
Okay, I'll pop one open, just see if it gives me anything to go by.
It says Billings is probably feeling thirsty.
Okay. Is there a water fountain nearby?
Not that you can see.
Is there a vending machine?
Probably in the break room.
Yeah, let me run down to the break room and see if there's like a water cooler, or if there's like a bottle of Dasani in the Coke machine or something.
So the water cooler is empty. The Coke machine is out of everything except Perrier, which is $4, and Monster 0 calorie, which is $7.50.
Wow, DC is expensive. Do I have? Let me see. I mean, my N-Gage doesn't have tap to pay. Do I have anything on me? I just look under. I look around the floor to see if anybody drops some money. Just like, if this is all predetermined, either Billings is going to die or the means for me to get a drink for him are in this room.
Roll a d4.
3.
Okay. What is the most obnoxiously strange drink you could find in the back corner of a break room in a government building? It's a Justice Tea.
There you go. Justice Tea. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, that's a fantastic bottle of tea right there. But Billings needs it more than I do. So, and I sort of grab it and I race back to his office.
Okay. He's even more like red and purple now.
Okay.
The Marines are like smacking him like, you can't die on us.
Right.
And shaking him like, yeah.
So I hand the general the drink and see if you can get it down with this.
The general is writhing. He is in no place to accept an icy cold beverage.
I try and dump some down his mouth.
Okay, roll a d4.
2.
Okay, you get some down his mouth, but you didn't announce your presence or anything.
Right.
So now that you look like an insane hobo pouring a strange liquid down a general in the Pentagon, in like the Marines that are standing there are like, who the fuck are you? Like, they come after you.
Right,
They're gonna tackle you. So
That's okay. I'm gonna take the hit if it gives me a chance to save Billings. Like if it means I can get some in and like miracles of miracle it works, I'm gonna focus on that.
okay. So they tackle you to the ground.
Yeah.
Billings is sputtering, but you see a large chunk of fortune cookie pop out, and the color starts returning to his face. But that's about all you see as the Marines drag you out and like down. They like take you to an elevator and they're like, you shouldn't have done that. Oh my god, this guy's a fucking terrorist. Like we're gonna you were gonna take you down to the holding cells. Again, I don't know if the Pentagon actually has holding cells in it, but
idea.
we're going to assume in this universe it does.
Yes.
So yeah, you're getting taken to the detention block.
Okay. Again, it's one of those things where like I pay attention to what's around me as I'm on my way down in case I notice anything, but I'm getting into this que sera, and I just sort of let it happen. Like, if this is what is meant to be, I'll see the next step in the detention cell and see if that gets me anywhere.
Okay. All right.
Had I read the next fortune cookie, it says you're going to serve 25 years to life in Leavenworth, but I didn't read that one.
It's not even. It's one-way ticket. It's another Travelocity booking on a one-way trip to Gitmo. So, yeah, and then the next fortune cookie is just laughing, and American jurisdiction doesn't go this far. Like,
right.
Yeah, habeas corpus has been suspended.
Perfect.
Yeah. But speaking of fortune cookies, as you're being escorted down to the detention level, they are emptying your pockets of everything, and one of the Marine on one side of you, whose lapel says Kermit, he's gonna be like, why the fuck does this guy have so many goddamn fortune cookies?
And much to the soldier's surprise, I'm like, hey, you got to be careful with those. And like
the other one like roughs you up, like you're in handcuffs at this point, or zip ties. They've zip tied your hands together. Okay. And like he like shoves you forward, and he's like, "Shut up! You can't talk anymore. Anything you can will be used against you in a court of law or something."
Right. And so I just I get back to that sort of zen where I just like, okay, let's see where this goes.
All right. So you're in an elevator going down to the bottom layers of the Pentagon, and Kermit is standing to your left, and the other guy, who we'll call
Fozzie.
Fozzie's pretty good. Or what are the two old guys' names?
I don't know.
There's something ridiculous.
Yeah, let's see. Muppet Critics. They are Statler and Waldorf.
Waldorf. So it's Kermit and Waldorf.
Okay.
So you like Waldorf's got you. The grumpy one, Waldorf, makes sense. Yeah. Has got you like your face is pressed up against the side of the elevator, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you hear a fortune cookie getting unwrapped and like chewing noises from Kermit. And Waldorf's like, "Man, what the fuck are you doing? That's evidence." And he's like, "I'm hungry. What are you talking about? Like, he's not gonna eat them." Like, and he's like, whoa, this fortune cookie's kind of weird though. Like the fortune's kind of weird. He's like, yeah, what does it say? And it says, he shoves it in the other guy's like ear, and it says, I fucked your mom. Like just yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just goofing around a little bit at this point, while still keeping on airs.
Okay.
And the elevator door dings open, and they're walking you down another hallway. You doing anything in the meantime?
Am I able to see what that fortune cookie said, or was it sort of too quick being waved around?
Roll a d4.
Okay. 3.
Yeah, I think you get a passing glance, and it's a series of numbers, and it's like 4, 3, 2, 2, 2.
Okay.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay. So yeah, I sort of stick those numbers to memory, commit those numbers to memory, and I look to see if they're bringing me to a door that's going to have some kind of keypad or something on it.
Okay. So they're not, as far as you can. You're walking down a lot of hallways, but you pass a junction, and then you just keep walking. You pass another junction, and another junction.
Okay.
And then at the last junction, you take a left turn.
And so finally, I'm just like, where are you guys taking me?
Like, we got to take you down deep where you can't hurt anybody, man.
And I'm like, I saved the general, right?
Well, it didn't look like it. That tea could have been poison.
Right, but it wasn't, and then it saved the general, right? You get that. Like, I know it could have been, but you know how it actually was, though, right?
Look, man, we're not dumb. We understand. We appreciate you saving the general. And, we're sorry about the whole shoving your face in the elevator thing. We do have to keep up appearances for the video cameras that are everywhere. And you've gone 3 intersections at this point, and they take another left turn.
Okay.
And they're like, we get it. The general's probably going to drop charges. Like, there's not going to be anything, but we just, it's an election year. We got to just keep up. We got to do all the things by the book.
Right.
So, it's all good, brother.
Okay. All right. Well, are we almost there? I feel like we've been going forever.
So you go 2 junctions and you take a right.
Okay.
And you're still walking.
So we've taken 2 lefts and a right. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And I'm like, man, this feels awfully deep inside the underbelly here.
Man, you have no idea how far down this stuff goes. Like, all of DC is connected by these tunnels. It's crazy.
Where do these tunnels go?
Oh, man, every building you could possibly imagine. And he points out one. He says, that goes to the Supreme Court. And then the next intersection is like, yeah, that one goes to, that goes to the NASA headquarters in DC.
Yeah.
And you've gone another 2 junctions, and you take a right turn.
And was that the second 2 junctions?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm like, so what are some of the places coming up? Where can you get to coming up?
Well, we've got the torture center up here on the right, and then we've got the Arby's, the downtown Arby's, is over there, and then the Department of Agriculture is on the other side of the Arby's.
Okay.
And you make it another 2 junctions, and you take a left turn, and there's a sign for Arby's, and then there's a sign for the Department of Agriculture.
And I'm like, well, gentlemen, you can just drop me off here if you're willing. That's actually where I'm trying to get to.
And they look at you and they're like, no, like, we weren't kidding. We do need to take you to the holding cells.
How much further are they from here?
They're right around the corner from the Arby's.
Okay. All right. I'm zip tied, right?
Yes.
And these are 2 for real Marines.
Correct.
I'm going to let them take me to the holding cell.
Okay. So
actually, is there any emotional sneaking I can do?
Ooh, how would you like to try and play that?
I'm looking at, can I either emotional sneak or can I crowdsource fearmonger? Can I sort of... let me try emotional sneaking.
Okay.
I'm like, look, it's... I feel bad because I've never served. I'm like,
we'll put a fat disclaimer at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Please.
So no, I don't mean any whatever.
Sure.
I just sort of, it's like one of those conversations, like, what's your unit?
Yeah.
And, I sort of go into, I start to try and make up a story about, my father serving.
Mm-hmm.
And I even sort of do that, like, man, but he thought about the Marines, but he knew he couldn't hack it. He went into the Air Force, and trying to pump them up a little bit, and try and get into their good graces. Like, this guy's all right.
All right. I think it's working where they're walking you towards the holding cells, but they seem to be enjoying the conversation, or at least they're enjoying the pampering.
Yeah.
And like, well, hold up. I mean, you're probably not going to get fed for a while in the holding cells, even with, there's a lot of paperwork that we're going to have to do. The least we can do. Do you want a Jamocha shake?
Yeah, honestly, I'd be very much appreciative of that. That's a good gesture. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we got you. And Waldorf lets go of you and goes in. He says, all right, so Jamocha shake, curly fry, and Kermit, you want the usual 14 individual French fries wrapped around a chicken buffalo sandwich. He's like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I got you. And he goes in, and it's just you and Kermit now.
So I look at Kermit, and I'm like, look, you got 6 inches on me and 100 pounds of muscle. I'm not going anywhere. Do we really need the zip ties?
He looks at you and he's like, probably not.
Right.
And he undoes the zip ties.
And I'm like, I appreciate that. I'm like, did you look at your fortune earlier? Are you into fortune cookies at all?
Yeah, I mean, the fortune cookie, it was a bunch of gobbledygook numbers.
Okay, but nothing else? Do you believe in fortune cookies or not really?
I mean, I believe that a factory turns them out in China, like,
okay,
like.
Do you believe in fortune? No. So apparently he's not. He doesn't believe in fortune cookies. So
he's not one with the cookie.
Okay, I'm like, all right. It's like, do you ever take any of these tunnels to the other buildings? Do you ever go to the Department of Agriculture?
He's like, no, I've never been to the Department of Agriculture. We use the tunnels to go other places. Like, I've been to, the shipyards. I've been to to Congress. That was cool. I went to the White House. I went and visited the president. Well, I didn't visit the president. I just visited where the president lives. And that was pretty cool. And I visited the vice presidential sex chamber, which that was pretty cool too. It's behind another Arby's, actually, which is just the strangest thing.
Right. And so, like, I'm just trying to get him to talk, and I'm like, honestly, like, I literally came to DC to visit the Department of Agriculture. Would you mind, like, letting me poke my head in the door?
He looks at you and he's like, why were you at the Pentagon then?
Well, funny thing, my Uber driver, it's a long story.
Okay. Do you say Dimitri's name?
Yes.
Okay, and he's like, he looks at you. He pulls out his phone. He's like, was this the guy? And it's a picture of Dimitri.
I'm like, yeah, that's
like,
my.
He's like, that's Dmitry Obachenko. Like, he's the second most wanted criminal in the greater DC metropolitan area right now.
Really?
Yes. The first guy has a lot of parking tickets.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, no, that's the guy that drove me here.
Yeah, no, this guy has killed like 18 people in the last week with a pencil.
Whoa. Do you think... I mean, he didn't give me the fortune cookie, so I don't think he was trying to poison the general.
Are you sure? Are you sure he didn't give you the fortune cookie?
So above the table, I remember he gave me champagne.
He did not give you a fortune cookie.
He did not give me that. Right, that's what I thought. He's like, no, I look, I know it sounds weird, but like I'm really into fortune cookies, and so that was all me. And
I mean, I get it. I collect stamps. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I do this really weird thing. Like, I play board games with grown men, and they all have little chits, and like, yeah, it's really interesting.
Baller.
Yeah, bunch of jackasses though. And yeah, so he's like, yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. Fortune cookies. What about fortune cookies?
Well, I know it's a weird thing, but like my fortune cookies are a little different, and it told me to do a certain number of things, and it's how I knew how to save the general, believe it or not. And so then I grab a fortune cookie out of my pocket if I'm like, I sort of like, can I reach in? And
well, I thought he'd hand you one because I think they took all your.
He took it, right. And I'm like, here, watch this. And I open up the fortune cookie, and I show him the fortune.
Yeah, and he looks at it, and he looks at you, and it just says duck.
And I'm like, oh shit! And I grab him and pull him down.
And a Jamocha shake flies over your head, and you see Waldorf come charging out. He's like, what the? You can't... Man, we're going to be in so much trouble if they realize that we let him all out of his zip ties. Like, what are you doing? Sorry about the Jamocha shake.
Right. And so then I turned to Carmen, and I'm like, see? Like, fortune cookies are weird.
He's like, what the fuck? He's like, do another one.
And I'm like,
hands you another.
Yeah. No problem. And I pop it open. I'm like, look. I don't even look at it first. I'm just like, look, what does it say?
And he's like, he looks at it. He's like, why is it telling me to call my mom?
No, see, okay, that's kind of a weird thing. It's telling me to call my mom. Is there a phone? It's a whole thing. But if you have a phone, I could borrow.
And he like hands you his phone, and he's like, you can dial, I guess. And
okay. Is there a number on the?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just a DC area code.
Okay. Yeah. And sorry, you were about to say something, or should I just dial?
Waldorf is just beside himself, is all I was going to say.
Okay. And so I'm like, hold on, and I sort of dial, and I say, I just wait to pick up, see who's there.
Mm-hmm. And it's a very gruff sounding man. He says, "This is Sergeant Eagle."
Sergeant Eagle, this is George Cox. I was instructed to call you.
Who is George Cox? I don't know any George Cox.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know Sergeant Eagle either, but may I ask, do you work in someone's office that I'm supposed to be speaking to?
I work in United States Marines. I mean, that's my department that I work for. What, in the security detail, the Pentagon.
Okay. So, Let me think for a second. Sorry for the dead air.
No, you're fine.
And so sorry.
Did you get the more Muppets references?
What was the name you just said? Eagle. Yes.
Sam
Sorry.
Eagle.
Yeah. So I hand Kermit the phone, and I'm like, "This is who told me to call," and I say, "Here you go."
I says, "Hello, Sergeant? Oh, geez, Sarge. Sorry about the trouble. We'll leave you be. Yeah, no, I understand. We won't call this number again. Yes, we will lose the number. Yes, we will pick up crayons. Click."
I'm like, so as you can see, like, these fortune cookies are wild. Like, how would I know to call your supervisor, right? Like, what would I know?
Yeah, that's the strangest thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're both looking at you like, they're like, are you a witch?
No, it's hard to explain, but if you want to see something cool, we should go to the Department of Agriculture.
They both look at each other and they're like, well, you can tell Waldorf is very much on the fence, but Kermit is convinced. But they both look at each other and they look back at you and lead on.
Okay. I'm like, we'll save, hang on to those fortune cookies. I'll let you be in charge of them. But let's go to the Department of Agriculture and get inside and then see what happens.
Excellent. And it is getting kind of late your time. I know that we said we would finish this, but do you want to keep going?
I leave it in time to you. Is there enough to do another session?
It'd probably be a shorter session, but yeah, we could make it happen.
Would that be preferable? I can go either way.
Let's keep going. Maybe we wrap up. Maybe we wrap up tonight.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, I try and get them to steer me towards the Department of Agriculture.
Okay, they're following right behind you at your heels.
All right, and so once we get there, I'm like, is this door open? Can I just go right in?
They look at each other like, neither one of us have been here. You're the fortune cookie man.
All right, so I sort of reach out and try the handle.
Yeah, it opens.
Yeah, I go, and then I just
actually, I'm sorry, it's a push, not a pull. Like it takes a couple of minutes to figure that out, but
yeah, it often eludes me. Yeah. So I just go right in. Yeah, I walk right in.
Okay. All right.
And I start, I'm like, I don't want to just burn through the fortune cookies. I don't know how many we have left. So let me see if I can find a directory. And I start looking for some kind of map directory, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty standard thing that you could find. I think that there's a directory there.
Okay.
Yeah. And what are you looking for?
I'm looking for, I mean, it's not like they would have patents. That would be its own thing. But there must be some kind of approval records or something like that. There must be some kind of records of or submissions for oh wait, no, this isn't the FDA. I guess I would be looking for some kind of place where
like R&D or
yeah, so the problem is my civics is showing like I don't entirely know what the Department of Agriculture does day to day. So it's probably stupid of me to pick, but yeah, basically I'm looking to see.
So
yeah,
I know what we can do. I know a real life prop we can use.
Oh, okay.
Let's just go on the Department of Agriculture's website.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me get that going. Department. I guess I wouldn't even have thought to do that of agriculture.
USDA.
Oh, it's the USDA. Okay, yeah. So they they rate stuff. They see what their priorities are. Food and nutrition security. Okay, there you go. They would have so part of their thing is overseeing, the security of our food. Like is it healthy? Is it full of
I'm looking at their agencies, which of course the USDA has multiple. So you've got food safety and inspection services.
Yeah.
You've got, I'm trying to think, other risk management.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You've got.
There's rural development, but it's not what I think it is.
Foreign agriculture services.
Yeah, let's say it's the
This podcast brought to you by the USDA.
I know, right? There's the Agriculture Research Service, so the ARS.
Perfect.
So it's their in-house research agency. So let's look for that.
Okay. It's on the 7th floor.
Okay. So I'm gentlemen, I don't know if you want to keep going. Obviously cool stuff's going to happen, but that's where I'm headed.
Okay. I think at this point Waldorf would be like, "Look, man, I gotta call this in. This is getting out of hand." And like he's gonna peel off, but Kermit's there with you. Like Kermit's like, "This is pretty strange, but I'll keep up with you."
Okay. And I'm like, look, Waldorf, like, I get that you don't want to be a part of this, but we cool?
He looks at you and he's like, I'll think about it.
All right. Well, we're going to keep going. And I appreciate that you've come this far. And I also respect that this might be too much that you want to be involved in. So, but we're going to keep going.
Okay.
And so I start looking for an elevator.
There's one right there next to the directory. That also makes sense.
Okay. And so like I just hop in and it does it access the 7th floor? Is it that simple?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can get up there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I just pop 7 and let it rip.
Roll a d4.
All right. 3.
Okay. So the elevator does not stop on the way up.
Okay.
And you're on floor 7 now, which is the ARS.
Yeah,
the
ARS.
Agricultural Research Service.
Absolutely. And so I just make my way right in and just hope that whatever is guiding me here is going to guide me the next little bit. So I go into the research service and I just walk right in and I turn to Kermit. I'm like, look, like if anybody tries to stop us, I need you to exert some kind of authority. Like this is official and you need to let this happen.
That sounds like some crowdsourced fear mongering to me if I ever heard it.
Yeah. Like, I'm hoping that I can get like the fear of authority to make them listen to what I'm telling Kermit to say.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you get some weird looks because again, you're a dude in a Def Leppard shirt and Crocs as you squeak down the tile aisles. But then there's this, clean cut Marine dude right there with you, who, is packing heat and looks,
True.
he is respectable.
Yeah.
He gives you an air of respectability to this shit show.
Right.
And so you're frog marching down the hallway. Who are you trying to find on this floor?
So what I'm trying to find on this floor is, so this all started because my belief is I'm trying to help insert gray DNA into our food chain.
Correct.
Or I don't know why the Illuminati wants me to do that, but so what I think I need to do is I need to find whatever the most like experimental lab records. I think at some point I'm going to need a computer, but I feel like given what, that kind of experimentation, it's going to be at the molecular DNA level. They're going to need computers to do it anyway. So,
okay. So you're looking for checklist. You're looking for a computer. And
looking for a computer in sort of like what looks like the most out there R&D lab.
Let's look. I'm gonna continue to use their beautiful website. Shout out to this website was last updated on 4/15/2020. So
perfect.
Maybe not a shout out. Here's an Office of International Research Engagement and Cooperation.
I like that international's in the title, so let's do that.
Okay, so you make it in, and you find the wing of the building that's dedicated to the OIREC, and you find just the first lavish kind of thing is Dr. Botswana.
Okay. Then that's where I try and get in.
Okay. The door opens and looks like it's lunchtime. You can smell some Arby's. It permeates the lab. Must be the closest or fastest thing to eat.
Probably the best.
Probably the best.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. So there's a lot of, you see like people, it looks like people have logged out and they're back in 15 kind of thing is up. It looks like they're going to come back for the workday, but they're gone for the moment.
Okay. And I just sort of say, Kermit, and if you could just watch the door. And actually, you know what, Kermit? Stand outside the door like you're guarding it, and then you can't let people in. Be like, I need you. Sorry, this room has to be locked off for a minute.
He looks at you and he says, biological containment. I like it.
There you go. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and he would start heading off that way unless you want to tell him anything else.
No. And I would then start heading for a computer.
Okay. So there's a couple to choose from, but they all look, they're all clean-cut, standard American government laptops.
Okay. And I just start going to town. I, try and get in, and what I'm trying to do is I'm just looking for where they might store, DNA data on like organic farming or like DNA on like pest control. Not DNA. So what I start to think is like, okay, maybe there's a way that we can insert, I don't know, science. We can do what we're trying to do by putting the material into the pest controls. It gets soaked up into the ground and into the plants. The cows eat the plant. I don't know how it works,
Sure.
But somehow, like, I feel like the delivery mechanism is going to be the pesticides that we use. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's easier to sneak the gray material into that. And so I start looking for that.
I think that is a great plan. And I think that Doctor, roll a d4 for me.
Okay. Oof. 1.
Okay, so Dr. Botswana, this is not his area of expertise.
Okay.
He is all about studying the mineral composition of the soil of Northeast Oregon and how it's degraded over time, or something like that.
Okay. Am I able to hack my way over to who might be the...
Sure. I think you've got enough of the specialty skills where you could do that. I think maybe you check your hacking is just searching his email. You just pop into his email and be like, pesticides.
Okay. So really quickly above the table in the last session, there was like 25 words or something that seemed like they were some kind of pass key or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I sort of lost track of that. Is that something you should say, don't worry about it? Or is that something that I should be thinking about?
Let's think about it. I don't remember the list of words I gave you, I'll be honest, but I
don't know if you gave me a list, but yeah, you just said the list was there, but it was out of order.
Yes. So and it was like pass phrases.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I remember. Thank you. Yes. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah. So maybe I recall that and I'm like, maybe there's something to this, to help me sort of navigate my way to where I'm trying to go.
I don't think that it has anything to do with this.
Okay. All right. So I'll just set that aside and then I just go through the email and see if I can find who's in charge of the pesticide research.
Yeah, and you find a couple of email exchanges with a Dr. Algeria, and he's talking about some recent pesticide experiments that he ran in Beltsville, Maryland, which is just outside of DC.
Okay.
At some co-op farms out there.
Okay.
And how he was having, a lot of science gobbledygook, but he was having, it seems, like they were running another test in the next day or two.
Okay. So I think in my head, what I need to do is I need to update the formulas for that test with the new formula, including the gray material.
Okay.
And see if I can make that happen.
All right.
So that's that sort of solidifies into my plan. That is your plan. That's how I'm going to try and accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish.
So you're going to try and get into Dr. Algeria's research,
yes,
and change the formula to include gray matter. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
How would you like to go about doing that?
So first things first, I try and see is that something that needs to be done locally, or do they save their information on OneDrive, or, do you know what I mean? Like, do they have like a server?
So there's probably the details itself for the formula are probably something you could change on a file.
Okay.
But if you wanted it to be a part of this test, they've probably already either started or completed the manufacturing process on this pesticide.
It's too late. Okay. So it might have to be further down the road.
Okay.
Because I don't. Am I able to hack where it's getting manufactured?
I think so. I think you've got the skills for that.
Okay.
What does that look like?
So I think what I would do is I would look at the information, because there must be correspondence going back and forth, like, hey, here's the formula we're going to try, stuff like that. And I think what I would try and do is I would sort of spoof an email from Dr. Algeria saying, hey, quick update on the formula. We need to do 2 parts gray material. Maybe not literally that, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm just sort of spoofing correspondence.
Okay.
And then, and then I'll say, like, look, I'm going to be out of the office. If you could just text me that you received this and were able to do the changes, and I put in my phone number.
Okay. All right. So you make all those changes and you send him a new updated file with, you changed an X to a Y and a Y to a Q and a Q to an umlaut.
Yeah.
And zip zop zoop. That's the formula that will turn everybody into abominations and bring about the end of the human race or whatever you're trying to do. And
hey, that's the Illuminati's job. I don't know what they're trying to do. I just know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to do it.
And you hit send, and roll a d4 on this.
3.
You get back a thumbs up emoji.
Cool. On my phone, on my Engage, or is he email?
He emails you a thumbs up emoji.
Okay. And so I'm just like, perfect, thanks. Looking forward to, excited about this next round of tests. I really think we're on the verge of a breakthrough. And so I sort of lean back and be like, I think I just saved humankind. Or, I just have like this moment where, like, I'm kind of proud of myself because I feel like the Illuminati, they work in the ways that they work. I feel like I was able to crack it. Probably I couldn't and didn't, and through this whole weird thing, I feel like, hey, maybe they're going to take notice of me finally and give me more responsibilities and let me inch my way up the chain. I have no idea if I've done anything they want me to do. I don't know if I just made things worse. Yeah, but I sit there going like, I fucking did it. And,
all right.
Yeah, and so then I sort of peek my head outside and see if Kermit's still there.
He is. Yeah, he's still standing there.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, you're not going to believe this, Kermit. I think we're good. I think we can get out of here.
He looks at you and he says, all right, very, very nicely done.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, Kermit? I owe you some Arby's.
And he says, oh, yeah. He says, let's go get some Montana burgers.
Nice. And yeah, and so I just sort of open up one last fortune cookie to figure out how to pay for the meal.
So the last fortune cookie, as you munch away happily, and let the crumbs circle around your I almost said vulva, but that's the wrong word. So I'm just going to leave that in there, though. So
Your eating sandwich is wrong, but yeah. I know what you meant.
Yeah. And it says, all it says is, well done. Call your mother. She has Arby's money.
Perfect. And so I don't know if this is like where we're getting to the point where we fade out or if there's more to go.
I think it's if anything, it would just be epilogue stuff. So this is garbage time, basically. I think.
So it's one of those things where I'm like, hey man, can I borrow your phone one more time?
Yeah.
Rah, rah, rah. And then
He tosses it to you.
Yeah, and then so and then it's just I make the call and
Okay.
and
The camera pans up into the middle distance and comes down into a white Ford F-150 sitting outside of the Hoover Dam, and Otto is laying just completely splayed on the hood of the truck, and the phone rings in the car, and you hear it get picked up. It says, "This is Dick Nixon," and we'll fade to black there.
Very nice, very nice. So I know it's I don't know what time zone you're in at the moment.
It's all good. I got time.
I'm just kind of curious. This is supposed to be, and we can talk more as we go into our damn fine coffee.
Sure.
But I just was very curious, really quickly. This is supposed to be a low prep system, right?
I prepped absolutely nothing.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, were you making this all up on the fly, essentially?
Pretty much. Yep.
Very well done.
Well, thank you. I think the only things that I prepped beforehand, I knew that the fortune cookie organization was going to be, when I handed you the fortune cookie at the beginning, I knew that they were going to be behind a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And that was just something I randomly generated. It was like, I need a list of 15 random items.
Okay.
And I'll just go from there.
Okay. All right.
So fortune cookie thing made sense. And I wanted to throw some lizard people in there because they're just funny.
Yeah. And it's part of the setting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously this was very, very low seriousness.
Right.
So this is, it's just basically a way to goof off for 4 hours or however long we played it for.
Yeah.
I had fun with it.
Yeah. And what I was going to ask is, do you feel like again, because I know we're potentially doing a damn fine coffee soon, so I don't want to get too much into it. Do you feel like the system helped spark ideas, or do you feel like you were just making it all up off the cuff?
It was a lot of making it up off the cuff. Honestly, okay. To be perfectly honest, I had a lot of fun with it. Mm-hmm. Is this something that I would play often? No.
Okay.
Is this something that I would? It was perfect for what we did. Where hey, Matt, I'm not able to make it for a couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, well, let's just play something super light. Yeah. I would not. That requires very little effort on both of our parts. I mean, besides you did excellent. You had you rolled with the punches, and it was a damn good time.
I had a great time. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I don't want to because I think it is perfect for that. Like, let's just throw something up when we got to feel. And I don't mean that to disparage the game anyway, because I had a great time playing it. And I really like its general broad strokes of the setting.
Yeah, I think this is also a game that I wouldn't play with certain people. Like, and that's
okay.
Not certain people, not in a bad way. It's just I don't think that you, me, and Matt would have a good time with this.
Right.
But some other people that I know locally or whatever, they'd look at this and be like, there's no structure at all in this. This is terrible. This is the worst thing ever. And that's, whatever cup of coffee you want to drink. Right. But
right.
But this was, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's actually something I hope comes up as a sort of bigger idea when we do damn fine coffee. That's and we're saying this, I don't know what's going to come out first, but everyone, if you don't know, usually if a month has a fifth Thursday, our goal is, as we get up and going regularly, to go every Thursday. And if there's a fifth Thursday in the month, the idea is to have this sort of podcast, this extra session where we go into certain topics or break down certain things or have after action reports of sorts.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll be curious. Hopefully tomorrow we're able to jump on. And,
I'll be curious. Because you and Matt did the Cyberpunk one too, and
and I'm hoping we can get that wrapped up so that one, just so we can wrap it up, and two, so like we're clearing the docket for the other stuff that we've talked about. So
at the same time, and this is something that we can talk about more tomorrow. It is nice doing these little, like,
Yeah.
super little, super light, like playing a game of Heist would have been great for this too.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
just
I've always wanted to try that. Yeah.
me too, me too.
Yeah.
Just hey, we need to I need a one night stand game kind of thing, and
Yep.
it's fun. So
Yeah.
but
Cool.
awesome.
All right. Well, I really appreciate that you ran this. This was a really fun time. And yeah, it was a really good system. It was a really good find overall. And obviously, I think you did a great job, especially if you were making us all up as we went. It was great. Yeah.
I appreciate you, man. I had a bunch of fun, lots of good laughs, and
Yeah.
thanks for going on a journey through this crazy head with me.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. So, and again, to everybody who watched or listened, thank you. Like I said, we're trying to do things pretty regularly on Thursdays. I don't know what that'll be for our release schedule, but if you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe, or, you can catch this podcast wherever you get podcasts. I guess it's pretty ubiquitous at this point. So, yeah. Thank you again.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
Illuminati confirmed.
All right. Take care, everybody. Take care, Patrick.
See you, man.
Bye-bye. The music during the RPG session in Foundry was provided by the Foundry module Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find his Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music, all one word.